Hello, Marley Elementary School. It's Miss Cottage, and I'm here with my brother, James Cottage.
Hello.
And today we're going to read the story, Grandma Found a Gecko, by Vincent F.A. Goffin, illustrated by James Cottage. Grandma found a gecko.
Aye, help me.
We heard that sound echo.
When Grandma found a gecko, she found it half asleep in the toe of her right shoe.
Grandpa heard the echo, but she would not let him peep, so he did not know what Grandma should do.
Help me, ee! Grandma's cries did echo.
Someone get this gecko, Grandma said. It's trapped in my right shoe.
She ran from room to room, stomping and shouting that desperate tune.
Someone get this slimy creature.
Out of my
shoe!
Grandpa said, hold still. Grandma said, I don't think I will.
Then she ran out of the house, stomping her right foot.
What can the trouble be? Asked her neighbor, Mr. Lee.
Grandma said, a little gecko is trapped in my shoe. Oh, please tell me what to do.
I see, Mr. Lee said with a smile. Sit down on this step and hold still for a while.
Then he told her, pull off the shoe. No, no, Grandma said. No can do. Grandma reached out and said, ew, ew, ew.
I just cannot. I can't touch that shoe. So what am I to do?
Mrs. Hall, the mail lady, came down the street. She heard Grandma's plea.
Please help me, Mrs. Hall, Grandma said, and pointed at her shoe and cried,
Inside! Inside!
The mail lady asked, something wrong with your foot? Help me, Grandma said. There's a gecko in my shoe.
Oh, how terrible, Mrs. Hall said. A little gecko, you say? How did it get that way?
Grandma said, I guess the little lizard was sound asleep. I put in my right foot, scared it, so it crawled inside more deep. Now it's stuck in the toe of my right shoe, and I do not know what to do.
Mrs. Hall listened patiently to Grandma's desperate story. Oh, I know just what to do, my dear, she said. I can get him out, don't you worry.
The mail lady pulled off Grandma's right shoe. Then she did what most people would do. She held the shoe up and tapped it on the ground. Nothing came out, she said with a frown.
The mail lady raised the shoe to look inside. It's dark, she said, but I don't see anything inside.
Get it out, Grandma cried.
Mrs. Hall said, I don't see a place a gecko can hide.
Nothing. She saw nothing inside.
The mail lady asked herself, where could he hide? Grandma said, let me see.
She stuck the fingers of her left hand inside. The lizard used it like a ladder and ran up her arm.
Grandma let out the biggest cry of alarm. Calm down, said Mr. Lee. It will cause you no harm.
Hold still, Mrs. Hall said. Let me see where it has clung. The gecko looked up at the woman and stuck out its tongue.
Oh, help me, Grandma screamed. Get it off. She hit at the sleeve and the gecko ran into her blouse.
Eee! Grandma shrieked louder than the time she saw a gray mouse, and then ran as fast as she could back into the house.
She yelled to Grandpa, it's out, it's out. Help me, she pleaded. Get it off me, dear.
Grandpa took a really close look to ease Grandma's fear. He ran his fingers through her hair, then patted down her back. Grandma checked inside her shirt, then looked out at the folds along her skirt.
They looked, 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 and looked again.
Grandpa said, I don't see your little friend.
They searched Grandma and the living room with the greatest care. There was no sign of the gecko anywhere.
Grandma phoned family and friends about the horrible gecko fright. That is when we were certain she would be all right.
Grandpa looked out the front window and smiled, 'cause he saw a really funny sight.
The tiny brown gecko wobbled down the sidewalk out of sight.
The end.